99% of people are using Notebooklm completely wrong. They're treating it like just another chatbot when it's actually a research intelligence system that can do things no other AI tool can. So if you clicked on this video wondering which Notebooklm capabilities actually matter and how to use them to get work done faster, you're about to get answers. I'm going to walk you through the 7 skills that separate people who struggle with this tool from people who've mastered it. And by the end of this video, you'll see exactly what you've been missing. So first, go to notebooklm.google.com. And if you've used Notebooklm before, you'll see your existing notebooks. If not, you'll see a blank slate. Click the plus icon to create a new project, and now you immediately land on the Add Sources screen. And this is where most people mess up, as they just start dumping random files into the uploader. Don't do that yet. We need to define the environment first. So press Escape to close that window. Go to the top left where it says Untitled Notebook and give this a specific name. I'm calling this one Competitive Pricing Analysis. This matters because Notebooklm relies on tight context. If you mix completely unrelated topics in the same project, you dilute the model. You want a clean, focused environment. Now that the container is ready, we need to fill it. But instead of manually uploading files you already have, we are going to let the AI build its own library, which is why the first skill you need to master is automated research. Go to the main prompt input box at the left and look for the small magnifying glass icon. This is the toggle for the new Gemini Deep Research model. Select that, and you are no longer just chatting with a PDF. You are deploying an autonomous agent. I'll type in SaaS pricing models and revenue strategies, and then hit enter. The system goes out and finds 50 sources and pulls the key insights into a single report. When it finishes, an import button will pop up. Click that, and this pulls every single reference directly into your library on the left-hand side. Now take a quick look at that list. If you see any files highlighted in red, those are failed links, which are usually blocked by paywalls. Don't let them clutter your workspace. Click the 3 dots right here and select Remove All Failed Sources. Now, your data is clean, but before you start asking questions, you need to check something. Because right now, you have quantity, but you don't necessarily have quality. And if your sources are outdated or biased, every answer Notebooklm gives you is going to be flawed. That is why you never skip skill 2, source validation. Most people ignore this step. They trust the AI blindly, but professionals validate the ground before they build on it. So go to the chat box in the center. Before I ask a single question about pricing strategy, I run a 3-step audit. First, I check the dates. I type in, show me when each source was published, and flag anything older than 18 months. In SaaS, data from 2022 is too old. If I build a pricing model based on pre-inflation economics, I am going to lose money. I need to know if the data is fresh. Second, I check the data type. I ask, categorize these sources. Which ones are case studies with hard numbers, and which are just opinion pieces? You want to build your strategy on case studies and financial reports. Opinion pieces are fine for perspective, but they cannot be your foundation. And third, I check for strategic bias. I ask, do these sources favor a specific model, like product-led growth or enterprise sales? Because if 90% of your sources lean one way, you're getting a one-sided narrative, and you need to catch that early so you can fix the sources before your entire analysis is compromised. Running these checks takes about 2 minutes, but it prevents you from spending hours building a strategy on a weak foundation. Now that your sources are validated, we need to tell Notebooklm how to talk to you. We do that using Skill 3, Custom Instructions. Notebooklm takes its behavior from the context inside each notebook. So the way you control how it responds is by adding a permanent instruction note. Click Add Note in the bottom right. At the top of that note, write something like this: act as a strategic advisor focused on pricing models. Prioritize financial accuracy, unit economics, and edge cases over simplified explanations. Assume the reader understands business fundamentals. Provide detailed, structured, long-form responses unless brevity is explicitly requested. Now save the note. Once you save this, it applies to every interaction in the notebook. If your AI responses have ever felt generic or surface level, this is usually the reason. You're operating without a defined lens, so the model defaults to broad, conversational answers instead of strategic research. This note defines how the notebook thinks. So now you have high-quality sources and you have a custom-tuned assistant. But if you start asking questions right now, you are still going to get diluted answers because you are forcing the AI to look at everything at once. To get absolute clarity, you need to use a specific control that most users completely ignore. It is Skill 4, Source Filtering. Look at the left side of your screen. Every source you've loaded has a checked checkbox next to it. And the problem with that is, when you ask a question with everything selected, Notebooklm tries to pull from every single document simultaneously. This gives you broad, surface-level answers because the AI is trying to synthesize 50 different sources at once. Here is the difference in practice. Let's say I want specific data on freemium conversion rates. If I leave everything checked, including sources about enterprise pricing and sales hiring, I am forcing the model to generalize. So instead, I uncheck everything. Then I manually select the only source that specifically discusses freemium models. Now I ask, what freemium conversion benchmarks should I expect in year 1? Notebooklm answers, using that one document. The response isn't a vague summary anymore. It is focused, specific, and actionable. This is how you get actual utility out of the tool. You keep one master notebook with 40 sources, but you control exactly which ones the AI sees for each question. This single habit changed how I use the software, and now, instead of getting generalized responses, I get targeted insights. Now let's talk about combining different types of information. To get the best results, you need skill 5, the multimodal strategy. Most people using Notebooklm have no idea that it accepts websites, YouTube videos, audio files, and Google Docs. And that is critical, because different mediums capture different layers of information. PDFs provide the academic rigor, YouTube videos show the real-world execution. Podcasts offer the strategy and nuance. When you mix these, you get a complete view that you cannot get from any single format. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to click Add Sources, select YouTube, and paste a URL. I'm adding a podcast interview where a CEO explains exactly how they pivoted their pricing model. Notebooklm pulls the transcript automatically. Now, I can ask a question that bridges the gap. Compare the pricing theory from the research papers with the real-world execution challenges mentioned in the podcast. And Notebooklm synthesizes both. It gives me academic theory checked against practical reality. You can't get that insight by just reading papers or just watching videos. Now here's where it gets interesting. You have precision control over your sources, and you have a strategic mix of formats. But all of that is just a setup. The real payoff comes from what Notebooklm can generate from that foundation. I'm talking about presentation decks, audio briefings, and visuals, all created automatically in minutes. Here is how to make it happen, starting with Skill 6, Custom Audio Briefings. Look at the right side of your screen. You'll see a panel called Studio with an option for Audio Overview. Click the small pencil icon on that tab to open the customization panel. In the text box, write exactly what you want covered. I'm writing, focus strictly on pricing psychology and anchoring strategies. Compare how 3 competitors structure their tiers. Keep it under 12 minutes. Skip the theory and focus on implementation tactics. And look above that text box. You aren't stuck with the standard format anymore. You can switch the mode from deep dive to critique, which forces the AI to review your research and attack it for gaps and weaknesses. For this run, I'll stick with deep dive. I'm hitting generate. It takes a couple of minutes to process. And here's the result. Let's have a listen.
Welcome to the deep dive. You sent us the research, the technical papers, the success stories, the articles on pricing psychology.
And our job is to take that mountain of information and just distill it into immediate tactical knowledge.
Exactly. So today, we are putting aside the theory of why pricing is foundational and focusing strictly on the how.
You can hear immediately that they didn't waste time on introductions or general definitions. Notebooklm created a 2-host podcast that jumped straight into the specific psychological tactics I asked for. The difference between default and customized is night and day. The default covers everything equally. The customized version gives you a targeted briefing on exactly what you need. And the part most people miss is that you should treat the first output as a draft. You can regenerate this as many times as you want. If the first version is too technical, tell it to simplify. If it spent too much time on the intro, tell it to cut to the chase. Iterate until it matches what you actually need. So now you have the audio sorted. Let's build the visual assets to go with it. Using Skill 7, Professional Graphics. Go back to the Studio panel. Find the infographic card and click the little edit button to open the settings. You will see options for orientation and detail levels. I recommend selecting standard detail and landscape format. In the instruction box, be specific. I'm writing, create a pricing comparison chart showing how our top 3 competitors structure their plans. Include price points, feature limits, and target customer size. Use a navy and white color scheme. And now hit generate. The output is a clean, professional pricing comparison layout. It clearly shows how Slack, Salesforce, and HubSpot structure their plans and tiers. Now let's generate the slides. Go back to the Studio panel, find the slide deck card, and click the edit button. You have 2 options here. You can choose a detailed deck, which is great if you need a text-heavy report report that people read on their own, or you can choose presenter slides, which keeps the text minimal for a live pitch. I'll pick presenter slides here, and I will select short as I need about 10 slides. In the instructions, I'll write, create a board presentation explaining our pricing strategy shift. Focus on revenue projections and customer segmentation, and hit generate. When it finishes, you get a structured strategy deck with clear visuals, charts, and diagrams. Each slide presents a specific concept, from pricing shifts to revenue impact, with a strong visual hierarchy. The content is organized, easy to follow, and designed to communicate insights quickly. The deck looks polished and is immediately usable, and that is it. You now know the 7 Notebooklm capabilities that separate casual use from professional use. And just imagine the edge this gives you. You can now deliver deep research and professional assets in minutes instead of days. But the engine that really drives these results is knowing how to prompt correctly. If you're asking vague questions, you get vague answers no matter how well you configure the tool. Prompting is the foundation that makes every AI tool work better. So I built a framework that works across ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, everything. The fundamentals that turn generic outputs into exactly what you need. It is linked right here on your screen. Click it now, and I'll see you right there.